Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today. Throughout the series, we've explored the organizations of the future. We've looked at AI-native enterprises, decision intelligence, intelligent operations, the whole shebang. But today we're tackling what is arguably the ultimate survival capability. This is literally the deciding factor that's going to determine which organizations actually survive and, more importantly, thrive over the next decade. We are talking about organizational resilience.
Okay, let's dive into this because we kind of need to shatter this whole illusion of market stability right out of the gate. Uncertainty is no longer a temporary challenge. We really have to stop waiting for things to just magically go back to normal because, well, this constant state of flux, that is the new normal. Honestly, if you had $1 for every time someone called our current era unprecedented, you could probably fund your own Fortune 500 company by now, right? Constant disruption is just a permanent business condition today.
We are literally surrounded by these permanent pressures. We're talking sweeping technological shifts happening overnight, chaotic economic disruptions, rapidly changing customer expectations, and, of course, entirely unexpected global events. Think about this for a second. The average lifespan of an S&P 500 company has shrunk by over 70% in the last century. That is massive. The organizations that succeed in this environment won't necessarily be the biggest, and they won't even necessarily be the fastest. They're going to be the ones that adapt the most effectively to this relentless environment.
So, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the end of stability, move into redefining resilience, explore the human core, look at the tech multiplier, and finally, equip you with your blueprint for tomorrow.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the end of stability, disruption as a permanent condition.
So why has organizational resilience become such a major, top-of-mind priority right now? Well, it's because disruption has become so much more frequent, significantly more complex, and vastly more unpredictable. As leaders, you just can't assume that markets, technologies, or customer behaviors will ever stabilize again. Resilience is no longer just a defensive mechanism. It's not just about ducking for cover. It is a vital, strategic capability. It's quickly becoming one of the most important competitive advantages you can possibly develop, giving your enterprise the ability to actually keep creating value despite all this crazy uncertainty.
Moving right along to Section 2, redefining resilience, from surviving to thriving.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it fundamentally upgrades our old-school textbook grasp of the concept. When we talk about organizational resilience today, we're defining it as the ability to anticipate challenges, adapt to change, recover from disruptions, and, here's the kicker, emerge stronger over time. Notice that last part. It's not just about bouncing back to where you started, it's about developing the capability to continuously evolve.
Think of it this way. The old way was all about merely surviving crises. It was totally reactive. You basically waited for the disruption to hit and then desperately tried to stay standing. But the new way is entirely about anticipating, continuously evolving, and being incredibly proactive. It's not simply surviving anymore. The absolute best organizations out there are preparing long before a disruption even shows up on the radar.
Which brings us to Section 3, the human core, leadership and adaptive culture.
There is this really defining quote from our source material that I absolutely love. It says, "Organizational resilience often reflects leadership resilience." And wow, is that true? Leadership is absolutely crucial here. Leaders are the ones who establish the priorities, they actively shape the organizational culture, and they create that deep confidence that is so necessary to navigate uncertainty. Strong leadership is exactly what helps an organization remain totally focused and adaptable when everything else is in chaos. True resilience, for sure, begins with leadership behavior.
And this brilliantly illustrates how these traits come together. When you combine adaptability and continuous learning with strategic agility, you get this incredible narrative of a company that actually embraces change instead of stubbornly resisting it. Add in a deeply collaborative culture and really strong communication, and boom, you've turned that flexibility into a definitive competitive advantage. Honestly, the ability to adapt quickly is exactly what creates true long-term strength.
All right, let's shift gears to Section 4, the tech multiplier, supercharging human leadership.
Incredible technology. Things like artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, intelligent systems. These deliver direct, tangible resilience benefits. We're talking about dramatically improved visibility, way sharper decision-making, highly accurate forecasting, and just massive operational flexibility. These technologies literally help organizations spot risks so much earlier and respond far more effectively. But, and this is a big but, remember that this is a multiplier. When you connect this incredible tech back to the strong human leadership we were just talking about, that is when technology becomes a deeply powerful resilience enabler. It's the ultimate supercharger.
On to Section 5, your blueprint for tomorrow, practical action.
Let me just ask you directly, right here, right now. What's one practical action leaders can actually take today? If you're watching this explainer and you're wanting to fortify your own team against tomorrow's unknown disruptions, what is step 1?
So the crucial point is taking this specific list of questions to your leadership team immediately. Ask them, what disruptions could realistically affect our organization? How quickly could we respond to them? Where are our absolute greatest vulnerabilities? Which capabilities already strengthen our resilience? And how can we become even more adaptable? Asking these 5 targeted questions often reveals incredibly important strategic priorities that you might have totally missed otherwise. And the beautiful thing here, preparation creates confidence. Organizations that prepare effectively respond more effectively. It's that simple.
Finally, let's move to our wrap-up, building the enterprise of the future.
Building genuine organizational resilience ultimately requires these core pillars we've covered today. You need leadership to set the tone and build confidence, adaptability to move with the market, strategic agility to pivot when needed, continuous learning so you never stagnate, technology as your incredible force multiplier, and a strong organizational culture to hold the whole thing together. The future just isn't going to reward organizations that try to hide from change. It's going to reward those that actively learn to thrive through it.
I want to leave you with this defining thought from our source material. Resilience isn't about surviving uncertainty, it's about becoming stronger because of it. That right there, that is the fundamental paradigm shift. You aren't just weathering the storm anymore, you are using the wind to push you faster and further ahead.
So I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative question. Will your organization avoid change, or will you use this blueprint to thrive through it? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. If you found this valuable, please share it with your leadership team and start asking those crucial questions today. We'll see you next time as we continue building the enterprise of the future.